Oh, that's the swing. I thought at first it was like a little Zoom screen.
Okay.
All right.
So, Dad, say something so I can see if I can hear you.
Something so you can hear me.
Okay, I can hear you.
All right.
Um,
Okay, hey, so both of you, well, no, I'm gonna-
Zoom troubles. It's not working.
or should both? Yes.
Which part is not working?
Any of it?
Can I get you?
No, it's all right.
Frustrating.
Hello, Alan.
Hi.
So, Dad, do you have a story for us?
Do I have a story for you?
Yeah.
I have some stuff I'd like to say. I'd
Okay.
like to say that you're my lovely daughter and you are the bravest person I know. Years ago when you first got ill, you went through such hell. An 8-hour surgery. Let me tell you, it was bad in the waiting room, but I'm sure it was worse on the table. Days in the hospital afterwards healing. Then months of chemo. And what did she do? She didn't give up like most people would, like I certainly would. What she did is she said, screw this, I'm going to live the best life I can. And she went around the world on her own. This is bravery. I can't tell you how proud I am of you.
Oh, you.
Yeah. You lived your life well, hon. It's more than most can say.
Can I say something?
Certainly, here. Here, get there. Can you get close?
Yeah, it's fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Clear.
So I don't know if anyone else can hear, but when Jim and I had been married for 4 years, Amanda's mother died. And she came to live with us as an adult. And one day I was telling some people that I was hanging out with my stepdaughter. And after I hung up, she turned to me and said, whenever you say stepdaughter, all I hear is step, like you don't really want me. And I said, Jesus Christ, that's the bravest thing I ever heard, because you didn't know how I was going to react. So we stopped saying step and we became family. And I'm very grateful that you took that step. Pardon the pun.
Ah,
Thanks. I thought you were going to tell the story of when I was 8 and puked in your sleeping bag.
I think you just told me. Yeah, well, that's okay. But that was kind of strange though, because you could have thrown up anywhere, but you had to like puke in my sleeping bag, which was, I suppose, contagious, but damn.
I was 8. What can I say?
Yeah, and you were eating a bunch of candy and junk in the campground store. Come here. Oh, come on, cat.
Okay.
Mine
Yeah.
says hello.
Let's mute my dad. Okay.
Okay, you speak.
Okay.
Right?
CG.
Go with CG.
Okay.
Okay. How do we? My dad's still showing up on this.
What kind you want?
Whatever, it's in the fridge.
Okay.
So James. Ah.
Stop that.
Okay. Sorry about that. Tell him I'm gonna take him off and then I'll put CG on.
Okay. Then, Dad, we're gonna take you off the the camera.
Okay, go for it.
Either gonna deputize somebody or start the barbecuing myself.
Can you, sandwiches in for like 10 minutes.
Let's start that.
Hi, CG. Amanda, is this
Yeah.
working?
If there's anything on there to accept so that they can become a panelist.
Okay. CG, there might be a message asking you to like accept something to be a panelist. Can you click on that if you've got it? It's not working.
Yeah, I can see that.
While we're trying to figure this out, is there anyone here who has a story they'd like to share? Someone's got. Your story is very not safe for work. I think your story is more like, yeah.
I got, where do I
Okay.
stand so the Zoom people can hear?
Sit next.
If I may.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yay.
Everybody, this is Mark.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark. I met Manda in 2016, less than a year after I moved to town, and I had been really struggling to make friends. I only knew a few people, mostly people from work, including Alan. And I agreed to camp with Alan at Soak and his little group, and he was literally the only person that I knew when we showed up, and met a really wonderful group of people, Manda being one of them. And I remember leaving that weekend thinking, wow, okay, yeah, I can be here. These are my kind of people. And I remember you specifically were so welcoming and open, and you gave the best hugs. So that always really, really stood out to me as extremely special. And that's why I want to make, I moved around so many plans to make sure that I could be here today.
Thank you.
This was the most important thing to me by far. And I'm really grateful that all of us get to be here either physically or virtually to be here with you. This is so special. And I'm glad that you're still up and kicking. Show us how it's done.
I'm not jumping out of planes like you do, but I'm doing all right.
I think you're doing great. So I'm so happy to be here.
Thanks. Should I take one more from the crowd while you're working on that?
Sure,
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone?
I'll try to be loud enough for people here and for Zoom. So I was lucky enough to get some body work from Manda a few years back. There was one time in particular that you like reached through my armpit to get this spot in my back that just causes me so much pain. And I remember just like crying. And you were so like accepting and validating and just assured me this can bring up a lot for people. And I just remember, especially as a therapist, like being so struck by like how well you held space for me and I felt really cared for. Yeah. And the other thing I want to share is one of my favorite, more recent memories. When we were at Soak in the toilet bowl year before last, and this
Context for people that aren't.
it was
The toilet bowl is this giant, like, 2-story thing filled with
pillows.
It's a,
In the shape of poopies and peepees.
and yeah.
And it's a lovely place to hang out. So we were hanging out in the toilet bowl, and this woman named Honey just like saw you and zoomed in on you and was like, you need this, and gave you this beautiful card that said something like, I don't remember the first part, but it was like, you know, the moon will help you remember your majesty.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I can see that this has been like a really tough and humbling process on you, like in your body, having been like an active person. And I just want you to know that like inside and out, we all see you as majestic. That card was meant for you, and I'm always going to remember that. That's it.
It was painted on metal. It's upstairs. That card.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love you, dear. Love you too.
Y'all are making me cry.
Okay, I'm gonna try and promote Andrew.
Okay. You want to come sit for a minute?
I can sit for a minute.
Andy's gonna have a story for us.
Oh,
Hi, Andy.
Howdy. Hi there, Amanda. I'm sorry I can't be there live. Can you hear me okay?
I
oh
can't.
yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, I'm gonna because this is not a job interview, I'm gonna get rid of the background. Because I want you to see why I wasn't able to get on the plane because of this guy. This is Hank.
Hank.
Hank's a very large dog who is difficult to dog sit, unfortunately. But he sends love too. And Becca sends love as well. Big hearts from Becca. So I don't know if I can share. Oh, I can't. All right, well, let's not do anything more there. I'll tell a couple stories, and everyone please take a look at the links that I sent. I dropped a link in the chat, and I also dropped a link in the event with a lot of photos. My hint photo was the picture. I think it said, what did it say on the picture? It said, I stomped at Gurgitch Hills, one of my very first fond memories of Manda. So we met at Burning Man in 19, not 19, my goodness. Feels like it. By the way, I love the whole,
We just lost Andy's voice.
AirPods should be.
Working now.
One moment. Okay.
I was saying you look great. I was saying you look great, and the mute went on. I can't let that happen. So many of you know, Becca and I both met Manda at the same time, which was back in 2009 at Burning Man. The hugs were amazing and continue. The statement about Manda's hugs being the best are absolutely true, and I think we have some photos of that. And we hung out and did lots of things, and it was really, really nice to go to, we went on a number of different trips back in the day, and it was so lovely. We had a moment of being out of touch, but that didn't last, and it was so lovely. I remember so well, so that one time we were stomping grapes together at Gurgitch Hills Winery, where all three of us had bare feet in a big vat of grapes, which was
It was
a very
way more
entertaining moment.
disgusting than I thought it would be.
Yes, they were like, you can stomp grapes just like people used to make wine, and we're like, sounds great, and ew. It was memorable. I'll say that. So for no good reason, we weren't not as much touch for a while. And I remember so well, I think it was Burning Man 2017, you just showed up in my camp. And you're like, I'm here for Andy. And I'm like, great, I'm here for Manda. Here you are. And there's a picture from that time, which is in the series, which of us at the trash fence, I think, which was so great. And I'm just so happy that we've been back in touch and chatting all the time online. We saw you live 2 years ago in Portland. There's a great picture of us and when we met Alan the second time. Alan, who is awesome. Way. And it was so fun to have some cocktails and mocktails and whatever the heck else they had at that place. Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, Amanda, I'm so proud of you for all that you're doing to have this incredible energy of life all the way through and still doing it and doing it tomorrow and doing it the day after that. And, you know, I look at how you've reacted to this incredibly impossible, seemingly impossible situation with such grace and vigor and love. And I gotta say, I mean, I love you and I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait to see you again. We couldn't get on the trip this time, but we'll see you again. And if you haven't yet, check out my long distance dedication on yesterday's BFF.FM show.
Thanks, Andy.
You're awesome. You're awesome. Big hugs every single day.
Right now, I'm disappointed that I didn't make bingo cards for this because so many people are telling me that I'm inspirational or they're proud of me or I'm strong. And that's all I'm doing is putting one foot in front of the other and trying to get through every day. You know?
Into that. That's right. And having said all the big emotional stuff, just like you're here and we're talking to you and this is fabulous. And you're such a great friend and you still will, it's not that you have been, you will be, you're still here and keep doing it.
Thank you.
Love you, really, all the time.
All right.
I'm staying on.
I think they'll eventually take you off the picture.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Anyone else want to tell a story? This is my friend William from LA, who I've known since 1996. So who came up for this? So thank you.
So yeah, it's 29 years. It's a long time.
29 years is a long time.
I think we've partied in New York, in Los Angeles. Did you come to Philly? You've been.
I think I came to Philly
You
once.
came to Philly,
Yeah.
Philadelphia, Oregon. Tons of amazing memories that I owe you. But I want to talk about one. So in 2021, I came up here. It's the first time that I met Alan.
Mhm.
The most.
Can everyone hear? Oh,
Okay, I'll speak louder. I met Alan in 2021. I came up here to visit you,
mhm.
and the most amazing guy in the world. I was blown away. I mean, it was so clearly evident that the universe had aligned you two. And then we hung out for a few days, and as always with you, nature is a big part of your life.
Mhm.
And so you decided to take me on a hike. And you told me it was going to be cool. And I know that it's Oregon and it's Portland, and the nature experiences here are like really primo. But you said you had a good one for me.
Angel's Rest?
Yes. But if you remember, it was raining. And
Oregon is always raining.
yes, of course, in Oregon. But in this case, it was like a torrential downpour, like a monsoon. And we were slogging our way. And I had never really been in a hiking situation quite so I would say rigorous. So much so that at some point we were over an hour going up, getting wrenched on.
Mhm.
Saw a man with no shirt, just shorts on, go up, and then we were still going up and he was coming down. And the entire time we started to get higher and higher in the elevations, and I looked out and you said, "Oh, it's too bad you can't see the view." It was just, clouds and mist in the storm.
Mhm.
And then kept going more and more. And I started to really, feel like that this was never going to end, that we were never going to get to the top. And then just as we get to the top, all of a sudden, the storm stops, the clouds break, and we were bathed in this like beautiful sunlight. And it was like you and I were with God. It was, or I know you and your
My agnosticness.
your
yeah.
agnosticness, but we were with something really, truly transcendental. And I remember both of us having this intense feeling of just utter joy and giddiness, especially because there was no evidence going up that this was ever going to happen. And the timing of it was like
Perfect.
perfect. And I have to say that for me is probably the greatest experience I've ever had in nature, Amanda, and I have you today.
Aw.
Thank you.
Ah.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Can everybody hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
You can hear me. Awesome. Awesome. Because I'm on
I'm clear.
mobile and that was probably other thing. The things I'm gonna say, I don't think are gonna be a surprise to anyone at all. Maybe I have a couple of little stories, but I just want to say a few things about Amanda, to her and to everyone around. Just the things I just so appreciate about you as a person, that I'm so glad that I get a chance to say to you now. So the first thing I want to say is that the depths of me appreciate your kindness as a human being. Just, when you were my landlord, which is kind of fun having a friend as a landlord. um, Dealing with the crazy upstairs neighbor. Oh wow. Just all of my experiences with you, it's just you shone as a human being, as a wonderful human being, as a person, as a just a beautiful, kind, encompassing person that has just every experience I've had with you filled my life with joy every time that I've been around you. After I had surgery, hosting me, being kind and serving me drinks and serving me amazing food and just all the things that you have filled my life with. And every time I have, and it's unfortunately been a lot more these last few years, every time I've had a friend who's exited my life in one way or another, the thing I think is, wow, I regret not having more time, because there's never enough time, right? I regret not having more, right? I always wish that there was more for me and for you and for everyone. And I was thinking about what I was going to say as we were having technical issues, and one of the things that was coming to my mind was that um that it's just so, there's so few really momentous things you can wish for someone, right? In their life. And the things that I could wish for someone is that they have love and joy and companionship in their life. And I am so happy that I'm seeing this, and that you have, your parents love you so much, your partner loves you so much. And if I, as a friend, can extend some of my own love your direction in the ways that I can, I will. Amanda, we love you, and I'm glad that you have love. And with that, I don't want to, bogart the time. I want other people to get a chance to express this as well. So I'm going to pass it off to the next person. But
Thank you.
it's good. Imagine the other heart. The heart. You're welcome. And thank you. Thank you for being in my life.
Their hand raised.
Oh, I thought Nathan was gonna go next.
I don't see where he is.
Shoot. Okay.
Oh, wait, Nathan. Go ahead.
Hi, Nathan.
Hey, I was muted. Sorry about that. Wow, it's been a minute, hasn't it? All right. So for those who don't know, Amanda and I go way back. It was great seeing your dad and Kitty. If they're watching, hi guys. It's been a few years, I guess, since we all saw each other last. Amanda and I dated a long time ago, but for about 8 years. I met her when I was 19, and you were actually a little bit older. You were like 24, I think, at the time. So that was sort of a novel thing back then. But we met in Boston, and then we went to New York. And well, I have a lot of stories, but I'm trying to think of ones that, let me think, would be funny and good times. I remember you getting so mad at me once, you threw like a frying pan at my head in our apartment.
Yeah, sorry. I have grown since then.
And I ducked, thankfully. But I probably deserved it. I was kind of a little punk back then, but it's good to see that, you're doing as well as can be expected right now. We went through the cancer diagnosis together and the chemo, and it looked like you really had things under control. And it's terrible. I'm really sorry. But I'm not going to talk about that. Let's talk about a funny story. And is Jesse there? I'm not sure if he's there, but
Not sure if he's still here. He was. But
well, my story revolves around when we went and we were staying in his place looking for an apartment in the blizzard of 95 in New York City. And he was nice enough to let us sublet or stay in his place while we were looking for another place. And this huge blizzard like blanketed the city when we were trying to like go door to door and looking for apartments. That was back when you had to wait for the Village Voice to show up so that you could like look for an apartment and call and be the first one there to rent something, way before Craigslist or whatever. And he had this apartment with a freezer that was like a solid block of ice, and he was subletting, and we never knew what was in that block of ice because it was just all permafrost. Well, this blizzard was so bad that we lost power, and that block of ice defrosted by the time we got there. And what was in there was like a turkey. and the turkey had defrosted and continued to go through its late life cycle in that freezer, and it was terrible when we got in there. And I just remember us like it was pretty terrible. So we had to put all of our groceries out on the fire escape to keep them cold in the snow, and it was wild. But we found a place, and things worked out. So I'd love to talk to you more outside of all this. So let's do that.
Thanks, Nathan.
So Alexandra said that she has to run to the train station to pick up her daughter.
Okay, she's in Munich,
Yeah,
so yeah.
Exactly. So it's almost 10, so
Okay.
you can tell folks, we don't have anybody else with their hands raised. to
Okay.
come on screen, but if they would like to, please raise your hand.
Jesse, do you have a story? I actually have a story about you. Okay, so a bunch of us were hanging out in, I'm not sure if it was near 14th Street. It might have been your apartment. And we were all smoking pot and we ran out. And so you said, okay, I'll call 1-800-Flowers, which was the number that you called. Not really, but that's how they'd answer. So they would answer. You went downstairs to pick it up. You never came back. We're in your apartment waiting for you going, okay, what happened to Jesse? And it turned out you got in the car and it was the cops. And then
What?
you know, I remember this so clearly.
Oh, yeah. I got off though, because I was the person. Yeah,
Yeah.
Wait, how'd you get off?
because I wasn't the person buying it. But yeah.
I just remember us sitting there in your apartment, like, is Jesse coming back? What should
Yeah,
we do?
I'm sorry about
Should
that.
we leave? Should we stay? Like, anyway, that's my
Yeah.
story.
It's a pretty silly thing to be arresting people for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. I
Mhm.
forgot that it was like that you guys were waiting for me.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. What a shit show. That's funny. Anyways,
Anyway, that's my story.
it's okay if I say here or should I?
Let's see if anyone else
Okay,
comes up
okay.
first. Anyone have stories they want to share? You have one? Okay.
Should I just speak loudly? Yes.
Yeah,
Sit here.
see if it will pick you up.
Oh, yes, all right. So July 2015, I believe it was the last gasp before Mags took off, and it was a road trip.
the
Mags
coast.
drove you and me, and, oh yeah, we can show them. And Melody. All right, so it's a wonderful road trip that involved stopping off at free water along the way with Mags and Melody and Manda. And at the very end of the day, Manda got to do something that she had always wanted to do,
Oh, yeah.
which is to capture the moon in the palm of her hand. So I just wanted to share
Thank
that
you.
moment with you. And yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Jessica says she can go on at some point, but personally, she wants to hear you tell some stories.
I've had a good life. I've done a lot of really cool shit. When people ask me like, what's the, something you did, my usual answer is, I built a snowman at Annapurna Base Camp, and that was fun. So I've gotten to travel around the world. I've gotten to settle here in Portland. It's been a good life. But I know some of you have stories. Come on up, Evelyn. Evelyn was my favorite upstairs neighbor.
I wasn't the crazy one.
She rented
from the crazy one. I'm gonna stand because it's
Okay.
easier for me.
Sure.
I met Manda in 2010 when I moved in upstairs from her on Killingsworth. And at first she was kind of a little leery of me because of the person I rented. But she soon found out I was a cat lover and she liked my little dog Clara. So we became friends, and not too long after that, Mandy got a puppy. She
Oh.
found Gigi, and she wasn't sure what to do with her, but Gigi turned out to be a real gift to all of us. I enjoyed her so much.
She was the best dog.
And I'm much older than Manda, and I lead a kind of very quiet lifestyle. So I was the stay-at-home who took care of the pets. kept the place anchored, and she's just been a wonderful, wonderful friend. And we, even though, you know, we live very different kind of lives, we've stayed connected. And you look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
You really do pretty. I love the haircut. We've stayed friends, and I want you to know that you've been such an inspiration to me. I was at a point where I'm not dealing with aging very well and my wonky heart. And you posted something a while back about taking care of your body and using it while you can. And so I've been going to the gym 3 times a week.
Oh, good.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm not going to be able to stay because the meds I'm on make me heat intolerant. So
It's gonna get hot. Yeah.
I know, I just can't do the heat. So, I love you to pieces.
Love you too.
You were the best neighbor I ever had. That was my heartbreak when I had to leave there, was leaving you and Gigi.
Okay.
Anyway, I love you.
Love you too. Thanks. Okay. Okay. Stories, anyone? Stories? Dan, do you have any stories? This is my friend Dan from San Francisco.
Oh. Now I can actually sit next to you. Sit next to you and tell the story. First, I have a hug from Andrew. Pretty sure I delivered that. So I met Manda in New York City way back in 2006, maybe.
4.
It couldn't have been. I moved there in
It was
05.
before you moved there.
Oh,
It was
okay.
Shakespeare in the Park.
Okay. I remember Shakespeare in the Park, and I was moving to New York and knew all of about 3 people, and but I'd gotten plugged into the local burner scene, and my partner and I put out a thing on the local list saying, "Hey, everyone, come meet us for Shakespeare in the Park." And for those who haven't been in New York, Shakespeare in the Park is free if you line up really early and get tickets. So basically, you're picnicking all Sunday morning. And you get tickets around noon, and then you have a few hours to do whatever, and then you come back for Shakespeare in the Park. Anyway, so we met in line there and had a couple hours of picnic, and I immediately knew, like, this is a good person here. Like, I knew you were going to become a friend. And I don't actually remember what we saw or any of that, but
Me either.
yeah. But yeah, we stayed friends for all the time that we overlapped in New York, which was several years. And I remember being really impressed by your determination to travel. Like, you know, lots of people say they love to travel. Everyone loves to travel, right? But you really made it happen. Like, you managed the money and stuff, and you were traveling like several times a year, right? Like,
I miss living in New York in the sense of it being a travel hub and being able to fly to London cheaper than going to visit my parents in Maine. That was nice.
still kind of kicking myself for not doing the Iceland thing when I had the chance, but you know, yeah, maybe some other time. But
we went out dancing a lot too.
that's right. You were the one who got me out to goth night.
Also, like, I remember seeing
Well,
Base Nectar in a space the size of like my living room. So we went out dancing a lot.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, Amanda's one of the only people who's gotten me into makeup for goth night at what was it called then? The place on the Bowery.
The vault or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. I only went there like
Yeah,
twice.
okay, anyway.
Anyway,
I think it had changed
bank.
names at that point, but at the point when we went there, but I think that was the spot. Think so?
Yeah.
Old bank building? Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway.
Anyway,
Um, I was trying to remember, I completely blanked on the story I was going to tell, but I do remember the first time I came to visit you in Portland, while I was still living in New York, and you said something like, there's we were going to make coffee in the morning, and said, oh, but there no beans are ready. Do you remember this? I said, oh, you haven't ground them? She's like, oh, Dan, this is Portland. And she pulled some, green coffee beans out of the freezer and proceeds to roast them right there.
that's the only way to do it.
It's still my favorite Portland story of all time.
I'm a Portland
Anyway.
hipster.
Yep.
Thanks, Dan.
Anyway, you're just amazing. So good. Remember the other story. I'll come.
Okay.
Stories, soliciting stories.
Hi, Jennifer. I worked for Jennifer for 7 years.
Which means these aren't exactly stories, they're reminiscence. When I first came to Portland in 2009, I knew that this was going to be my last job. Oh, well, she's got the microphone here. Can you hear me now? Where? No. Oh, yeah. When I first came to Portland in 2009, I knew this would be the last job that I did as a professional nurse executive. And I wanted it to be something special. When everything told me it was going to be, all the feelings I had about the interviews, everything said this is going to be a really special time and worthy of the last job that you have in your career. But the thing that goes into making a seriously good nurse executive is the person who is that works the closest with her, who is her support and her assistant and her companion. And when you inherit a person like that and you don't get to interview them or know who they are, you're scared to death. I mean, you're wondering, is this great? What's going to happen? And then I met Manda. And as it turned out, in the 30 years that I was a chief nurse, she was the very best partner I had in making myself successful. She was key to the fact that I retired sliding off the top of a hill like I was skiing off the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. And I will be ever grateful for her for doing that. It wasn't easy either. She didn't just have me and 3,000 nurses that reported to me. She had somebody else to support as well, because somebody in their infinite wisdom thought that it made economic sense to have people with all of that workload have more than one person to take care of. She did it with grace. We did bitch about it periodically, but we had the grace to close the door as well when we did that. There's no story specifically that I have to tell, because everything about her was perfect. She did for me and for herself and for the organization more than anybody else would have done in that position. And I came to love her very quickly because she was sassy. And she spoke her mind, and if I needed an opinion, she gave me one. And there's nothing more important to a person who is trying to do a job like that, to have somebody who tells you the truth. And that's who I have with my partner, Manda. One thing that maybe is a little bit of a story is she was walking her dog and got, but not quite run over, but bumped into by a car.
Yeah.
Close run over. And hurt her knee. we found out, Terry and I, my partner, that she was, my wife, I should say, that's changed. Found out that she was incapacitated and just getting out of the ER. So we picked her up and took her to our house, and I taught her how to knit.
Yeah, some of you know that I'm a knitter, and that's because I spent a week at Jennifer's house. And she was like, if you don't have something to keep yourself busy, you're gonna drive me crazy. And she taught me how to knit. I am known for my impatience, and I've decided to embrace it and make it one of my
persona.
Yeah, it's part of who makes me me. I'm not gonna be not patient. Wait, I'm not going to be anyway.
She was making a scarf, and the more she knit it, the bigger it got. You know, it sort of started out a scarf size, and it ended up looking something like half a lap robe. So she couldn't figure out how that was happening. And one of the things thereafter, after she learned how to knit, is we would at least once a week take a part of our day and solve some problem she had with her knitting.
Yeah, constant problems.
So anyway, that's my life with Manda, and it was wonderful.
Thanks.
Andrew says he has something on his mind.
If it's short.
If it's, okay.
Hello
You
again,
guys-
Manda.
Yeah.
Oops.
Just want to check in. Is everyone, you're good? Okay. All right.
I'm back, just really briefly. A story, or rather a memory that I forgot to mention. One of my very fondest memories of the 19 years I went to Burning Man was, so far, may it happen again, you never know, were our late night walks, where we would find each other and explore late into the night, and when there were no clouds and it was getting very, very, very cold, and we would go from place to place out in Deep Playa. Those were very, very memorable. And one time there was one in the daylight where I posted a picture of us at the trash fence, so check that out. And Becca wants me to remind you that in addition to throwing the seed bombs, thank you, Dan, for bringing back seed bombs, we're also going to plant a bunch of trees. So watch for that. We'll show them to you when they go in, but I love the seed bomb concept, and we wanted to let you know we're participating in all that. So big thanks for that too. Again, lots of love.
Andy.
Told you to be brief.
Okay. Debbie, you have a story?
I was going to.
Yeah, come tell a story.
Oh, with the short cord. This or sit on this with you?
Yes.
Oh, geez. Maybe I shouldn't.
No, we're fine.
Okay, I know Manda from work. After she worked for Jennifer, she came to work for me in the Safe Case Mobilization Program, but I had known you since you first got to OHSU. And we did some early adventures. We went to one of those aerial dance things under the highway.
Yep.
We drove out to Mount Hood to see the apple blossoms and to find an alpaca. And we took care of each other and I took yoga.
Yes, you came to my class.
I came to your class. I learned how to move belly. I'm very good at this. I miss you.
Someone more happy.
Funny. But you have stories. Melody, I know you have good stories.
I'm not gonna tell those here. I'm gonna talk about all of the ways that you have changed my life. You hand carried my resume after the guy who was making hiring decisions had thrown it away and slapped it on his desk and said, hire this one. And he did. And
Closer.
And arguably that changed the entire course of my life. You also forced me to stretch, not exactly at gunpoint, but it is not my happy place ever. And often at work, Amanda would look over at me and remind me that I had a body. And I hated her for it a lot of the time. Amanda introduced me to Burning Man in a lot of ways. And I'm groping for words to express the footprint that you have had on my life. It's enormous. And then you let me marry you and Alan. And that was a signal honor. That was spectacular. I appreciate that. And it's emblematic of the trust and love that we have for each other. They mean the world to me. And I fucking hate cancer for both of us. I love you.
Now somebody with a funny story. Max,
Yeah.
yes. Hi. Mags is about to tell a story. My friend Mags is about to get on and tell a story. They're queuing up with my friend in Australia.
Hello.
Hi, Mags.
Greetings from the frozen down under. Good to see you, and thank you for having a Zoom option for the faraway people. I've also been thinking about everything that you taught me, and it's a giant list, and starting with hula hooping and dancing and hiking in Oregon. It was fantastic to be there at the beginning of your body work passion and getting to talk about anatomy and play with things. You taught me a lot about how ingredients combine when baking, which I did not absorb, but also how baking is a love language, which I did. And about letting my body be free on the dance floor and letting myself be free on the yoga mat too. And he also taught me about loving a dog, which is a giant change in life that I can't even understand still. But when I think of Manda, the one motion that comes to my mind first, Manda brought me to Burning Man. And I remember on the first night, she led me out into the playa and we stood back to back holding on to each other and we just spun in circles. And that feeling of like, this is so magnificent and I can't wait for you to experience it. That's what Manda is all about in my life. One of the best times that we had together was lightning in a bottle. And this crazy little festival in California included bouncing on the dance floor 24 hours a day, but also my first sound bath and a terrible exodus and a fantastic drive up and down the coast in my convertible. And we've also just enjoyed a ton of quiet time together too. And I'd love to be sitting there on the front porch with you right now. It's a very, very good friendship when we can have an amazing visit that's warm and nostalgic and philosophical and also hilarious when you're in the hospital. So thank you for that. There's a lot of people I can have a boogie with, but there's not a lot of people that I can have these conversations without words. And the other thing I remember about Manda is that she's a great kisser. So I feel so lucky to know you and love you and be loved by you. And thanks for including me this morning.
Love you, Max.
Love you.
So a lot of you wouldn't know this, but Mags came to visit me from Australia, and the timing happened to be April 4th, which was the date I was admitted to the hospital for 2.5 weeks. And Mags and Alan took turns sleeping in the room with me, so I never had to be alone. It's pretty awesome. Okay. Hi, Terry.
This is private. My birthday.
Yep.
Hi.
Hi.
You look wonderful.
Thanks.
As the resident hospice nurse, I just want to say that I've been following you on Facebook. And one thing I always told my patients was live until you're not living anymore, and then die the way you want to. And you know, I don't need to tell you, but you're doing that exactly the way you want to try it. And so I want you to know that I'm watching. And if you ever need anything along the way, emotionally or anything, I want you to feel free to reach out.
Thank you. Story. You have a story? Speak on it.
Hello. Nice to
Gotta
see
be-
you. Hold on, real close?
Yeah.
Okay. All of my memories of hanging out with you have to do with flowers for some reason. Our recent walk through the rose gardens where on the way back, the entire town was knocked out of power. To hanging out on your porch under this jasmine, which smells so great. Hanging out in this porch underneath the jasmine, which smells so good. But I think the first time I actually hung out here on your front porch with you, you were telling me about your garden. And I'm listening like, oh, this girl has compost figured out. You're growing all these things. You must really be into like the whole circle of life and everything with how to grow things. And then we went outside and you kind of went off on this squirrel or bird that was eating all of your cherries. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, sure. So we've been growing a lot of stuff and everybody seems to appreciate it, including the damn squirrel.
Including the squirrels, yes. There a major chair rearrangement happening? Ah. I was told there were 3 people that had stories over here. You just did. Oh.
Oh, Ellen.
Oh my God. Hold on. Neil, did I just see Neil? Fuck yes. Hi. So good to see you.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, it's been a while.
But I'm gonna take this mic and just tell her story.
These are jazz cafe friends from Burning Man that I haven't seen in way too fucking long.
All right.
Presented by a jazz cafe.
So, yeah, I'm gonna get help with this story. So when was the first time you went to Burning
2004.
Man? Okay, so I met Manda in 2004.
The 10 by
And
10 pop-up.
Exactly, that was the second year of the Playa Jazz Cafe. My name is Neil, aka the Professor, and in that second year, as Bill was driving in, he found Amanda in Reno, and she was on this adventure to go to Burning Man. And so we picked her up and adopted her, and she became a core force in the early formative years of our camp. And then, yeah, we kept in touch. My sister lives in New York, and when she was living out there, we went out and had a night on the town, and then she moved to Portland. We came up here and visited when my daughter went to college here. But anyway, after a few great years, she took her Burning Man experience to other pastures and left us in the dust. But she would always stop by
I
and,
should have stayed with you guys.
and hang out with us. And just did a lot to inspire Mina to come out. Careful, the cord's not that.
Yeah.
You take the seat.
All right, we can switch. Thanks. No, it's okay.
So my memory is of you sitting in the kitchen at my house in complete and total pre-Burning Man disarray. And I was still staying home, taking care of babies. And I just thought, wow, this woman is so freaking brave. Like, you were the only chick and all these crazy guys that just made this terrible mess in my house. And you were going out there. And I'm like, wow, I hope I can do that one day.
And you do.
And I do. And now I have for like, I don't know, 15 years or something like that now. But I felt like the real inauguration for me to get my own Burning Man personality, instead of just glomming onto his, was you actually inviting me to join the Maries. That was such a huge pivotal moment.
Let me explain the Maries.
Yes.
So the Maries was my project for a couple of years where we all dressed up as Marie Antoinette and handed out cake.
Sometimes with various degrees of screaming. Eat cake. Let them eat cake. And I found this fabulous wig at a thrift store and made this whole like bird cage thing.
You had a good costume.
I was so excited. It was the first thing at Burning Man that I wasn't just going to support him at the Jazz Cafe. I actually had something. I felt like I was a real person. Thank you for that. And in honor of the Maries and being our Burning Man connection, I made you a little something to enjoy while you're still in this world. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw Carol and Bill, and they never got her. They had trips planned or some whatnot.
Ooh. Well, thank you.
By the way, the hair is definitely Mia Farrow.
Oh, good. Not Judi Dench.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Mia Farrow.
My silver hair.
Looks amazing. Might be a little slippery.
Now,
And then there's another one in that you can save for later. or double crown because you deserve it.
Ooh.
It might be a little pumpy.
Okay, I'll find out. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Stories?
I'm here.
Yay.
All right, well, first I want to say thank you to Alan for setting up the microphone because I was back there stressing out about, do I sit next to Amanda and then just kind of yell in your face so that everybody can hear me? Or do I stand over there and project like this is a stage? And I was really overthinking it. So thank you, Alan. So I talk in a normal tone of voice, but also sit next to me. I don't know. There you are. Yes, thank you for that. Okay, so I've been Facebook friends with Alan for a few years. We saw each other at some different events. We had some friends in common, but didn't really do like a lot of hanging out together. And then just about 2 years ago, I started on a health journey similar to Manda's, and Alan reached out and he was like, hey, do you know my partner, Manda? Because I think you guys have a lot in common for a variety of reasons. And I was like, gosh, no, I guess I am not friends with Manda. And so we messaged each other on Messenger and we just started hanging out. And it's been 2 years but I feel like every time I hang out with you, I'm like, Manda is so cool. Like Manda is so cool. And I wish I had known about her like 20 years ago, because it was one of those things where we have like Venn diagram of friends and lifestyles. 20 years ago, I was distinctly not cool. So you say, so you say. Anyway, I'm just so glad. I mean, my motto is better late than never. And I'm just so glad that we had these last 2 years to really hang out and connect and just have a great time whenever we see each other. And you have really shown me a roadmap of joy and being smart and being knowledgeable and having dignity and like all the wonderful things in the world that I want to emulate. So thank you. Thank you for showing me the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See the little box, but not.
Yep.
Yeah. Hi, Nat.
There we go. Hi. It's so good to see you. I so wish I could have made it out in person today, but I'm so glad that your friends all set up this Zoom so we could at least say hello. And I put my background photo as a photo from when I came to see you in Portland in 2009. And I was thinking about this trip because I'm almost positive it's the first time I ever traveled somewhere for no reason other than to see a friend. It wasn't for an audition. It wasn't because it was nearby my family. It wasn't for any reason. It was just because I want to go see Manda. So I came to Portland to see Manda. And I don't have like a super funny or like amazing anecdote of you, just whenever that I could come up with. I'm sure we had them, but my brain is a sieve. I just, whenever I think of you, I picture sitting across the table from you at dinner and just talking about relationships and love and heartbreak. And I always felt like you were such an open book, that you allowed me to be an open book, and barbecues, and they seem to always involve food, picnics in the park. I wish that I had more time to share your kitchen and bake with you, because I too have become very passionate about baking and sourdough and all those things. But whenever I think of you, I think of warmth and love and openness. And I'm glad that even though we've lived not in the same place for, is it 15 years? When did you move to Portland? I don't remember when you moved to Portland,
17
but
years.
17 years. Yeah, so we only overlapped for 2 or 3 in New York before you moved, but we've managed to stay in touch and see each other a few times in those years, either there or here. And I'm just really grateful for your constant presence. I love you so much.
Love you too.
Mwah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
This microphone makes me so nervous. I thought long and hard about a funny story, and I really struggled to come up with anything, except I kind of came up with a one-word funny story for Manda, and that word is eggnog. Manda has a love affair for eggnog that cannot be rivaled, and definitely introduced me to the levels that it can attain, which is so far beyond some supermarket crap. So that's my funny story. The rest of my memories, there's so much I could say. I've known you for a long time, and arguably you introduced me to Burning Man 2 in ways that completely changed the trajectory of my life for the better. But when I think of you, and when I always think of you, I'm just gonna remember this like connection and joy that you always had with your body through yoga and through dance and through bike riding and through hiking. You were just you're always so connected and joyful in your body. And I guess I just kind of want to encourage everybody right now to like take a deep breath and connect with your body and think about how it feels and think about all that it can do for you and just like experience joy in your body in this moment and tie that to Manda because that's what I'm always going to do. I love you.
And this.
It has been a big struggle for me as my body kind of falls around me. I can't do a lot of those things anymore, but I did a lot of them. Yeah.
Stories. You have lots of good stories that might be a little too much for this party.
The story that I want to tell, that's the funny one, involves kissing, but we're gonna leave that out. Use your imaginations, get X-rated. It's better than that. It's so good. You wish you were there. I have been racking my brain and trying to think of how we met. And I cannot remember not knowing you in Portland because we were a link or two removed, but in the same circle. But I didn't really get to know you until you and Alan got together because Alan and I were friends. And so I always have to thank him for bringing this absolutely incredible babe into my life. I don't think we became friends though until we went to you for body work. And your body work sessions, somebody else already mentioned this, there's somewhere between physical healing and emotional. Like we had therapy sessions, which turned into long walks where we were overly honest and allowed ourselves to say the mean things that you sometimes think without judging the other person for saying them. You know, sometimes you have to be a little bit petty. It's in there, and it's nice to have a friend who you can be a little bit petty with, and they won't judge you for that. They will love you and accept you, even though you have mean thoughts sometimes. And I think Manda and I could go on these walks and say mean things and understand that the other person was actually mostly filled with love. It's hard and you need somebody to vent with. As you have gotten sicker and your world has shrunk, I have felt so privileged to be allowed to continue to be a part of your smaller world. And I know it's hard for you every time you lose ground. And it's hard for me every time I see you get worse and not get better. Because there will be a hole when you're gone that no one else in the universe can fill. Because you are unique and you are wonderful. And you bring so much to my life. And I am so grateful. Some of the stories you've been sharing, Manda and I were going through some of her old photos. And so I have seen some of the photos of you guys telling these stories. I have seen the Marie Antoinette wigs. They're better than you think. They're so good. I've seen pictures of the Jazz Cafe on Burning Man. I've seen pictures of your old boyfriend that you threw a frying pan at. And I've been so blessed to be allowed to join you in the hospital when you've been unwell. I think it's scary to let people in when we're vulnerable. I got to read Manda a chapter of some of my favorite poetry while she was too sick to do anything else. And you resting your head on me while I read you that chapter is so tender and so dear. And I know that you don't have a knowable amount of time left, right? I hope that you keep dragging on for years like this shitty dragging on that you're doing where you don't get to eat, but we go out for boba tea. I hope you have years of this shitty, not your full life, so that I can spend years loving you. But if you don't, I've seen the receipts. You have lived more life than most people. You really have. Your travel journeys are incredible. The things you've done are amazing. And the amount of love that you've instilled in your community and the world. You have left a legacy. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . really quick story about Gloria. Alan and I had just decided I would move in. This was a couple of years into our relationship. And we were at a small party. And I told Gloria found out. And she squealed at the top of her lungs and said, "Oh my God, that's so awesome." And that felt like the biggest stamp of approval. Thank you. Stories. And if you're all done telling stories, that's cool too, but. Okay. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi.
So I probably have known Manda the least amount of time of all of you. She walked into my tango class maybe a year ago.
Year and a half
Year and a half ago. Wearing this awesome knitted thing, and we got gravitated, like, what are you wearing? What's that? Are you on Ravelry? Became Ravelry friends in like half an hour. And she is just the most amazing knitter and dancer. I could go over and say, "Oh, here's this part about you." It's okay. Everyone else is like, "Where's my left foot?" And she can immediately do everything better than everybody else. And such a
Not
joy.
really.
That's not true. So it's just a joy to start to get to know you. And I just told her, if you want to do a dance, I got music, I'm here. And if you don't, I got music and I'm here. So I wish that I had met you sooner. And we'll just dance if you like.
I don't think I'm up for it right now, but
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a joy to also knit.
Your
great-
class is a
another-
joy.
It's also fun to sit around and both of you swearing while knitting. I thought I was the only one. Anyway.
Knitting is mostly about swearing. Yes. Thanks. Come in. There's more chairs, I think. Everyone has a story.
More or less.
You often have stories.
Yeah,
Here, I'm gonna hand you this.
I don't remember when we met. I know it must have been 2004 when I moved back to New York. And I can remember seeing you around dancing. I can remember us going to Ted Drew's eventually in St. Louis for frozen custard.
Yep.
You love frozen custard.
I do.
But my memories of you are most developed from the time after you left New York. Or actually just before. You stayed in the apartment Ellie and I share while we traveled through South America or Latin America for a year, and you took incredible care of our house. And it was something we didn't have to worry about or think about. Like, honestly, I forgot I had a house to come back to. But the problems, you took care of it. You were a great tenant, which feels wrong to even call you because you are such a great friend for the care that you shared for our home. And in years after, when we had our son, you came from Portland to bring him a t-shirt to let him know what his future career was to be.
I don't remember this.
Sadly, he has not grown to be a very good monkey wrangler. Tried. I really did, but the t-shirt might have been wrong. When we came out and visited you, or one of the second time we came out to visit you, I had told you our son had just started skiing. I had taken Ellie skiing, and she had given up on it 20 years ago, was inclined to try it again. She was enjoying it. And you presented me the offer of, hey, you could ski on Mount Hood year round. Maybe make me a meal once or twice while you're here. And I pounced on it and yes, I take the deal. You'll never get rid of me. And then I burnt down your kitchen like the second year of coming out to visit you. And I thought,
Down. The large oil blackened stain.
and I shit the bed on that completely. But you still kindly had us back, and my kid now is actually sick of skiing at Mount Hood. He's done it for the last 10 years. Thank you is not encompass the appreciation I have for the impact you've had on my life and those that I care about. In the example and the things you've done for me and for us, and for the example that you've shown me in how you live your life, there are so many things that I take from it and love about it. And I appreciate you, and I will always treasure having you in my life and being able to know you for any time that I could. Thank you.
I just wanted to say, a little while ago, you said 20 years ago, you weren't cool. There are a number of us who know you. And you definitely are, were, and I'm not going to tell a story right now, but I just wanted to thank you for all of the times that we've shared and the inspiration. Kevin talked about us traveling and you staying in a place. And when I met you 20 years ago, you had just come back with your trip. And that was a big inspiration for me. And all these chapters in our lives that have happened in the last 20 years, I find that there's so many parallels, and I'm so glad that we have been able to stay connected over all that time, even though 17 years ago when you left New York, I was pregnant, and a huge part of my life has happened away from you. And I'm so glad that, you know, our son knows you, and we've been able to spend such meaningful time together with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you. You have to hold this pretty close to your mouth. God.
Thank you. That's microphone, Amanda.
Thank Gloria. It's hers, I think.
My first thing is going to be for Alan. Alan, when someone that you love dies, for the first month, you'll be surrounded by friends and family. After that, it's going to be harder and really hard. And that is when you're going to teach me how to ride a fucking bike. And I promise you, that experience will be way better than any mental suffering you're dealing with now. I promise to be your friend. I promise to be there when you need a friend or dinner, or someone to walk their dog with. And I want to talk to you about the things that I'm just really fucking good for right now. You're never gonna stop your job. You're not gonna burn dinner. You'll never have to live through a Trump presidency. You'll not have to pay taxes. You'll not have to get rescheduled and resurfaced for all these stupid things. You'll never get old. You'll break it. And I love you. Sorry, sweetie. The idea of not having to live through another Trump presidency is a positive thing.
Anyone want to talk?
Yeah, Jessica.
Okay.
Or we could go.
Sarah Jane. Hey. It doesn't stretch very far.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. I haven't spent a lot of in-person hours or days with the legendary Manda. the legend of Manda proceeded by meeting her through the Lindy Hub community. But when I came to Portland for the first time, she welcomed me and sat across from me, I think at Bollywood, maybe, and did that thing that humans love to do, which is connect. And I'm so appreciative. And from what I heard other people say and what you shared on social media, tip of the iceberg in terms of the wonderful, amazing things that you've done. And I'm so grateful that you introduced me to Salt and Straw. So I'm very happy to be here and see you in person. And even though I haven't spent much time with you in person, just there's a lot of love.
Jessica?
Yeah. Just.
Although, if I was naked, it wouldn't really be that weird for us. I actually wrote out what I'm going to say because I knew I'd not be able to get through it otherwise. I have a lot of stories, fun parties that I'm not going to speak of publicly here, theater and delicious shared meals at restaurants and at both of our homes, awkward outdoor get-togethers during the pandemic, and then the recent years. And it is in those years that we've become closer. So I will share some of my favorites from that time. I remember planting foxglove seeds after your cancer came back and being afraid that you would die before they would bloom because they take 2 years. Those flowers have since bloomed and died in my garden, so you outlasted them. I remember going to the Chinese gardens together 2 years ago next month. We laughed and talked excitedly about things in each of our lives that since that time did not pan out the way we thought that they would then. While I know you and I both grieve those things never coming to pass, I will always carry with me the sound of your laughter and your smile in the sunshine that day. This past winter, I got the great pleasure of introducing you to my favorite secret Portland Christmas house, and I will carry with me the look of delight on your face when you opened your eyes. This spring, when we were up at Catherine Creek and you puked your guts out, you looked at me and said, "I don't think we can have ice cream." And I said, "I know." And then 15 minutes later, you said, "Getting ice cream." And we did. Delicious. And I will always remember you as the woman who doesn't let vomit get in the way of eating ice cream. These are all small moments, the everyday pearls of our life that passed most of us by each day without us noticing them. Knowing your time on earth is likely to be shorter than the rest of us here today has given me the mindset of holding on to these moments and also allowing them to be whatever they are. Sometimes there's a lot of vomit along with the joy. You have done so much with your life, experienced so much, but it's the connections with people that have impressed me the most. Your ability to build and maintain authentic connection is evident in the number of people who have traveled far to see you, both today and in other days. The trajectory of your life and your cancer is unknowable, and you have been wise enough. Sorry, I also have a cold I'm getting over, in addition to the crying. The trajectory of your life and your cancer is unknowable, and you have been wise enough to allow yourself to continue to choose whatever feels right in the moment, which hasn't always been the choices you thought you would make. We like to think we all know what we'd do, but none of us do. It's truly been an honor to be with you for this part of your journey, And I'm here for you for whatever comes next. And I'll be here for Alan when you can't be anymore. I love you. Oh, and I also know you're a good kisser.
Okay. Hey, Joshua. Hi, Alex. Can you hear me? You're muted, I think.
Okay, hang on. Okay. Can you
Yep,
hear
can
me
hear you
now?
now.
Okay.
Yep.
It's been a long time. When did we meet? You remember?
Probably 86 or 87.
It was a bit later than that because we
I thought
had
we were
a
still
large group of friends that overlapped, but we didn't actually meet until 89.
89. Okay.
Theater 101, University of Maine. You were sitting next to me. And yeah, and the professor said something, asked a question, and Nick Brzezinski answered the question. And you started laughing and said, "Oh, well, that's Nick." And I said, "Do you know Nick?" And then we started talking about all from Orono High School, from Hamden Academy, from all the different places. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Or
I can hear you.
okay. Yeah, when was the last time we saw each other?
Not on social media, but actually saw you face to face. Probably late 90s.
Late 90s. No, early 90s.
I have a picture of you from Boston.
Boston. Yep. I had an ultra conservative boyfriend and I visited you in Boston. And the last thing he said before I took the bus to Boston was, "Don't you dare come back with blue hair or a nose ring or anything like that, because I know Manda. Manda's got blue hair. Manda has a nose ring. Don't you dare come back like that."
Wow.
So what did I do? Or what did you talk me into doing?
I don't remember. You got nose pierced?
Yep. In Boston, of course. Yeah, it was just one of those clip-on things, but at least, just to shock him. I don't have really many exciting stories to talk about with you, but we've kept in contact over all the years. It's been a long time. You were always a very good friend. I know my father met you once or twice, but one of the things he said, he said, "She's beautiful."
Oh.
She has beautiful skin. That's something that he always said about you. My father passed away 4 weeks ago. Cancer.
All right, Alex.
But at least I was able to visit him 2 more times. before he passed. I was there in over Easter, and then and 4 weeks ago. I'm sorry I can't visit you.
Okay.
Portland is just much too far away from Munich. But I've enjoyed reading everything that you've, I'm sorry. That you've been sharing about your life, and it's really very inspirational what you've been doing the last, well, actually, your entire life. You've been enjoying life. That's the important part. And I love your headband and your glasses. Yes, very nice. I don't really like your haircut, to be honest. Okay, well, it's time for me to go to bed. Enjoy the rest of your day
Thank
and
you.
your friends and everybody who's there.
Good night. Hi, Joshua. Do you have a story? Just came to say hi.
Just here for a hug.
Of course. Let me put this down. I mean, I have a story for you about you. How you so kindly let me ship all my stuff to you when I first moved here. And then I remember you opening the door and saying, that was more boxes than I had anticipated.
You don't know what we did with the boxes before you got here.
No, what'd you do?
Made castles and had forts. We played games.
Nice. Thanks, Rich. No doubt.
Stories.
Yes.
Hello, hello. I don't have any super big stories to share. Other than I have kind of a rule on the social media to only be friends with people that I have met in person. And I've only made 2 exceptions, and you are one of them. And the other one is but we did meet in person at the very last pageant that I did, finally. And I think that was Burning Man 2013, maybe. Does that make sense? I don't
Maybe.
know. But I did notice that we did meet once, but it was years after we were friends on social media. And I've enjoyed connecting with you there, and you look great. Despite the the trials and tribulations that you've been experiencing. But I just wanted to say hello and spread a little joy and sparkle in this kind of crazy time.
Thanks. Good night.
Sid got a hold of me when he made that book with all the memories. And I was trying to sit there and think what to write into. I wanted to add a page to it. But like a lot of people, I was sitting there going like, do I have any big memories that stood out? And I think where you and I, we've always kind of circled around, orbited around, but it was, I think, Doug and Bree's wedding where we really had a chance to sit there and talk and interact and connect a little bit. And so I don't have so much of a story, but an observation. Like I watch a lot of people in this community and I kind of watch how the interactions and the associations. And one of the things I've noticed is I can never recall anybody ever having a sour thing to say about you. When people talk about you, they always talk about you with a lot of warmth and a lot of love. And one of the things I've come to appreciate a hell of a lot more in the last 10 years is kindness in people. And I think one of the things that's occurred to me is that's who you are. And that's how you move through the world. Is you just exude kindness. You embody it. And when you engage with people, you do it with just a love and a kindness and a gentleness that the world has long needed so much more of and continues to need more of.
My main rule is just try not to be an asshole.
I am. Be a little bit less of a dick every day. The impact you have on people amplifies with every change that you leave on people. So that was just kind of an observation that stood out to me and was like, that's why I love this person so much. It's because they're so gentle and because they're so kind. And I've interacted and I've known Shutoy here a little bit more on just more closer over the different lead activities and other events and things. And I still remember when the two of you started spending more and more time together and just seeing him get more and more giddy. And then the giddiness never fucking ended. And he just kept always being elated, which is a hell of a thing to do with G-Toy. Because he's like the wind-up toy that the key never goes the other way. You keep people positively wound up. And I love you so damn much for it. So thank you. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, what can I leave you with?
A flying fuck.
It's the biggest fuck that I have to give right now.
I got a flying fuck.
It's my kitchen fuck. It's been living in the kitchen for since I've been making them. So that's your guys's. So I don't know why I never thought to get you one before, but I saw it on the way out and I was like, no, this needs to go to a different one.
We'd find a place to put it.
Sounds like kitchen is where it goes.
Yeah. Thank you.
So.
Okay, there's still a few people standing. Are you guys okay? Okay. I want everyone to be comfortable. Are there any more stories? Observations? Sorry about the COVID. Amanda's gonna talk.
Yes. Okay, I can also confirm that you're a good kisser. We met on OkCupid and I was just looking in my email in April of 2010.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a little while, and I remember picking you up for the first time in my car, and you were wearing that leopard print coat. And I knew you were fabulous.
Oh.
And we have been friends for, well, 14 years. Yeah, and I have always been in awe of you. Yeah. You're wonderful.
I'm really glad you bought that house a few blocks away. 'Cause I
Yeah.
get to see you way more often.
Yes, and then there have been lots of walks and things, so that's good. Okay. Next.
Anyone? Hi.
Hi. You know, it can be a little bit hard to get sometimes. And I am so grateful that you reach out to me so that I can see you and be in your life. You make me feel so special whenever we are together. I am envious of the joy that you have in it. It is such a special thing to see somebody who looks for those opportunities to have those special moments and will just go and do them. Know you. I am lucky to be able to be a little bit awkwardly eyebrow waggling at you from time to time. Because I also know that you're a good kisser. And I am shocked at just how stunning you are every time I see you. And this feels surreal that this is all happening. Everyone's acting like this is normal, but it feels very decidedly not. I'm so grateful to know you. Yeah, hug you. You're such a pain. Oh, God. Okay. Oh,
For me?
it is, I think.
I think
It's a little late in the day. We started what?
Oh, I'm still gonna need it. The microphone is free. If anyone wants the microphone is free. Hey. You came back up to Portland.
This will be short. I don't have a lot of stories. I met Manda in 2007 for the first time, but I think we've only seen each other in person about half a dozen occasions since then. When I came up last year, I hadn't seen you for a dozen years. And that felt a little stupid, but it was also like I suddenly felt like we've just been talking the other day. It was like some people you just get such a clear impression of the very first time that you see them that you're just never really surprised to see them again or that they are the way they are. So we met at Burning Man. I had never been there. I was extremely confused. And Manda was celebrating having moved to Portland. And
we were Costco soulmates.
yes, so the Costco Friend Finder service was a camp that would you'd put your name in a hat, fill out a brief questionnaire, and then by some process they didn't explain, they would just pick out people and say, here's the person for you to talk to at Burning Man. So it's sort of a little weird to feel like this was due to not pure chance, but some sort of person somewhere who did something. So thanks. And I got, just listening to everyone talking here today makes me remember that I'm very convinced that Manda is such a person as well, who's been responsible for many people crossing paths when they should. And I'm sure that that's had so many ripple effects out in the world. Yeah, I so wish that I remembered better what the hell we were talking about that first day, because mostly I was just very happy to sort of vicariously experience all of the happiness that Manda was sort of putting out to the world on this occasion, just having found the place she was supposed to move to, and having gotten through a lot of difficult stuff. We did bond a little over having left New York, which did seem like a good idea at different times. Anyway, whatever it was.
You don't remember the pizza story, but I do.
No, I know there was pizza.
Let me tell
Yeah,
you.
please.
So Eli and I had spent the day just wandering around Playa, looking at art, and there was this beautiful giant black pyramid that we were able to climb up. It was like stepped, and we're hanging out on it, watching a storm come over in the distance, but safely away from us, no dust. And this person rides up on a bicycle and hands us a pizza box and says, "Pizza delivery." I was like, "We didn't call pizza delivery." And he said, "Well, I went to this camp where you make yourself a pizza and then you make a pizza for the person who unconsciously ordered it." And gave us pizza, and we had delicious pizza on this giant black pyramid with the storms in the distance. It was quite magical.
Thank you. Thanks for giving me back the pyramid. I had lost that part. So I think that's all I got. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good, Nancy? Do you want to say anything? Yes. Okay. This is Alan's mom. Practically, you're my mother-in-law now, because we're official.
I know. I know in January, you're official. I first met Amanda about 7, 8 years ago when there was a housewarming party here. But she remembered me, but I didn't remember her because Ellen was with somebody named Amy. Well, she left. Well, anyway, I am so glad that you are Ellen's wife, and I love you. And how you ever put up with me for 2 weeks in my box last year is beyond me. You know, the dogs are running through the house chasing the cat, and you were so gracious. And the meals you and Alan cooked were just like restaurant quality food. And I love you. I love you so much. All I have to say, and I hope you so much longer.
Trying.
Yeah. I love you.
Too.
Bye.
Hi, Linda. Ooh, beautiful. So at OHSU, my last job was wildly understaffed. And was, yeah, it was me part-time and Linda as a part-time consultant. And yet we managed to keep an entire program going. So I'm proud of that.
Sorry I didn't bring a boas, but you know,
Fine
you've
one.
got enough.
They're beautiful.
Right. Well, I didn't come prepared to say anything, you know, but you know, I can talk for a long time. So, is it time for work stories? Have they heard any?
Not really.
No, they're looking very serious back there.
Yeah, a quick work story, not too many
No,
work
I'm kidding you. So I worked with Manda for 10 years at OHSU. You kept me on the straight and narrow. She's a hard taskmaster, if you didn't know that. Focused, project manager extraordinaire. And without her efforts, we wouldn't have been able to keep so many healthcare workers safe. And hopefully that will carry on. I know you'll try, but we will. And I know there are a lot of people that will carry on what you've been doing, but I couldn't have done it without you. You're the bravest woman I know. And it's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you for everything. And I hope you're around a lot longer. That's an order.
No. Gonna try.
Oh, I didn't mention the videos. Do they know about the videos?
Yeah.
You're quite infamous. You should get royalties from them. Really? Yeah, do you? Which want them? They're good at?
Yeah. We need to find another vase.
Thank you.
Noted.
Hi, Kim.
Hi. Hi.
Good to see you.
I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to at least show you the beauty crafts and everything that you've inspired me to do before everyone eats them. This is
peacock.
It's a peacock, and I wish I could have them, but I do want you to know that I've always been so impressed by your talent and your creativity and your food. I mean, when I've gone to any event you cater, it's phenomenal. So anyway, I just wanted to bring something special for you and for your guests, and you continue to inspire me because you're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So you actually are gonna try?
I can, it's kind of gross, but I can eat it and then spit it out. So that's
Well,
what I will do.
That is
When no one's
was
looking.
your choice. Your choice.
The way I get to taste it, and they look
Okay.
delicious.
Okay. I love
Okay.
it. And I've never used this before. I just got it off.
Cool.
Okay.
You turn off.
I'm gonna wait. So. Yeah, I'm not gonna spit up food in front of like everybody. That was not my thing.
But we're okay.
Hi. Oh, are those from your garden? Holy shit.
You've been saying such nice things
Those are
about my
beautiful.
roses.
Look, everyone, look at these roses that, oh my God.
They're called the Twilight Zone roses.
They're beautiful.
Thank you.
I just have one little climbing rose, which is near dead at
Oh, I
the
see
moment,
it.
but yeah,
It can come back. It will.
good.
This will knock over if I set it down, and I'll put it with your other ones. But I don't know if that'll have a story, but if you.
Well, just quick story of how we met.
Yeah, oh, that'd be great. Yes.
Because I had a date with Corby and Corby took me to Die Hard the musical. And we ran into somebody we knew, and this was the person's date. And I'm like, did you knit that? And she's like, yeah. And then he looked at me and goes, is that Prairie Underground? I'm like, yeah. And we totally just connected over fashion.
Fashion and knitting.
Fashion and knitting.
Because not many people know about the Prairie Underground hoodies. They are the best hoodies.
They are.
And so
I
when
have
you-
like 5 of them.
Same. So it was awesome to meet somebody who had the same aesthetic and also like knitting as much as I did. I was also super high on mushrooms. Because it was Die Hard the musical, and it was funny to me because I could tell that you weren't maybe that impressed by my date.
I'm not mentioning date's name because I
Okay,
have no
no.
respect for that person.
Yes. And so I'm not sure we're really dating anymore, and that's okay. But it was nice to be able to commiserate with somebody and to also go with you on a big yarn crawl.
That was fun.
And so anytime I yarn crawl on that yarn crawl ever again, I'm gonna be carrying you with me. Like, that wasn't your last yarn crawl. So, and I will speak of you whenever, even if I take anyone else.
Probably my newest friend.
But thank you for inviting me. So good to see you, and I hope to get to see you soon. You're beautiful. You're glowing right now. Oh, truly. And it's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to be surrounded by so many people.
Quick side hugs.
Yeah, there'll be a big clothing giveaway eventually. Amanda already has dibs on my flu box. And Angela has dibs on my Prairie Underground hoodie, so everything else you can fight over. Hi, Effie. Hi. It's been a hot minute since we hung out too.
It sure has. So my recollection is that we met at Joshua's and that you were actually maybe visiting from New York, or you had just moved
Probably
here.
just moved.
And we were hanging out as swing dancers, and this would have been maybe 17 or 18 years ago.
17, because I moved here 17 years ago.
And I want to say, so I don't know if you were cool 20 years ago, but you were definitely cool 17 years ago. We've mostly had contact over Facebook for a long time. We've had times in the other times in other scenes, and I am not always 100% sure that it's good or right that I'm living a different kind of way than what you're supposed to in this society. But when I see you, when I read your posts, when I've talked to you about relationships, I'm more confident that it is right and it is good. It's good to love big and love who you love. Thank you for being you and not being afraid to be you and showing us all that.
Someone left their, belong to anybody?
Okay, I see someone way back there that I've known since 1990 who needs to come on up. Hi, Ian. Ian was my roommate in Boston a zillion years ago.
Good to see you. So you just flew up from LA for this?
Yes. And I'll share a little story about how Amanda made me a better person. So we were roommates in what, 91 and 92 in Boston. So what's that, 2 years ago? Feels like. Yeah, and I don't know how it all kind of happened. We had kind of this magic accumulation of 4 roommates in a 2-bedroom apartment near Northeastern University. And we weren't the biggest, but somehow our apartment became known.
It was 1991 and we had all just discovered ecstasy. You can picture the number of parties we were having in our apartment.
And for some reason, everybody, Boston has crazy nightlife rules where the clubs close generally at 2 o'clock, but the one in particular that we liked in Cambridge had to close at 1 because it was kind of close to a residential neighborhood. So nobody's ready to end the party at 1. And somehow over the course of the year, our apartment became known as the after party place.
Which really annoyed me because I'd get people being like, well, who are you? And I'm like, I fucking live here.
Well, we'd even have situations where like the 4 of us on a Saturday night would, have other plans or whatever, and we'd all be in bed by midnight or 1 because we had other things going on. And somewhere around 1:30, our buzzer would start buzzing and people would just start showing up like, hey, we're here for the after party. We're like, we're not having an after party. We are now, right?
Even better. So Ian shared a room with John. I shared a room with Amity. It was a small room. Amity was not always mentally together.
And she would occasionally lock herself in the room so that I couldn't get in and I was stuck with her party. These are the things you put up with when you're 21 years old.
But, and you know, it's actually all right, I guess, just because the kind of parties that we had, you know, people kind of chill out and have fun and then pass out, sleep, whatever. And actually the problem that we had when we went to turn the apartment back over when we were leaving the apartment was orange juice stains in the carpets. You know, we had what we'd call club kitchen. People would show up, kind of pass out, wake up in the morning, someone would go to Dunkin' Donuts and buy donuts and coffee, and we'd start cooking eggs and you know, without a doubt, we'd have orange juice stains in the carpet. So I mean, you know, for all the things that like crazy 22-year-olds could do, orange juice stains might not be the worst.
Yeah.
But I also had this habit. I kind of liked the kitchen staying clean, and not everyone was on the same page, but I was very passive aggressive about leaving notes saying like, I would like my kitchen clean, please, or something. I don't know what it was. But Manda would really call me out on it. She was like, just address the problem, you know, like, you know, probably gone, right?
Yeah.
You know who's doing it, just go and address the problem. And I'm like, you know, I've always been like, you know, try to avoid conflict. So, but Manda actually like was kind of like, it's not going to get better with you leaving stupid notes. So you know, I still to this day when I go to avoid conflict that I really should just address, I actually kind of remember Manda telling me back in Boston way back when, like, it's just not gonna get better with your stupid notes. So I appreciate that. You've always made me better for that.
Oh, thanks.
So yeah, and I just flew up from LA to spend an afternoon. Our paths have crossed over and over the years, but I don't think I've ever actually seen you in Portland. Oh no, wait! I took a yoga class from you.
Did you?
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
we
this
went out
is
to dinner.
like 10 years ago. Yeah. And Shay and I went to the yoga class. And yeah, and then we went for dinner after. So I take it back. Actually, I actually kind of forgot that maybe 8 or 10 years ago. Anyway, hey, thanks for the yoga class.
Thanks for coming up to be here.
Let someone else take the seat. Who's next?
The seat is free.
Anyway.
Hi. Okay. Let's give you a smooch. Sure.
Are there any more random stories to be told?
Indicated.
Okay, it's not required.
No, but just to say, if anyone does want, they should either mention it in the chat or raise their hand. Put them on the screen.
Okay. Hi, Sid.
Hey, friendo. How you doing?
Good. I remember a story involving your limo and a parking lot in Bend.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna hand you the picture.
That's quite a reminder. I was wondering what I was going to talk about. Were you were on that trip?
Yeah,
Oh my lord.
yeah.
Okay.
A box truck to Burning Man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an adventure. So a while back, for those of you who don't know, I bought a limousine. Pretty much on a whim. Like I figured out that, well, there was one available, and my bank, for whatever reason, didn't ask a lot of questions when I told them I needed $2,500 to buy a car. And so then I had a limousine, 30-foot long town car. And yeah, we tried to drive it to Burning Man with too many people and towing a trailer. And I mean, it was like a normal number of people for the limousine, but with the trailer, it was too much. And yeah, we lost the transmission in Bend. I actually, we were driving through Bend, and I said, wow, we're actually making really good time. I like looked at the clock, and I was like, wow, that's cool. And then I like hit the accelerator, and the car, like the engine just like revved, and the car didn't accelerate. And like literally, it was like the next thing that happened after I said we're making really good time. It was the timing couldn't have been better. And yeah, so I pulled into a parking lot and we got the limo towed to a shop and we had invisible limo camp in the parking lot of
We had pizza delivered.
Yeah, we did. Did we have pizza delivered or did our friends go get it?
They delivered it to the party.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, and then we were like, okay, well, how are we gonna get to Burning Man? I don't know. We ended up renting a box truck from the and we went to U-Haul in Bend and I said like, hey, I need like a 10-foot box truck for like a week and a half or whatever. And he said, oh, are you going to Burning Man? And I was like, no, what's Burning Man? I said, no, we're just we're going camping in the desert and my car broke down and I just need like a truck to get my stuff to the desert. So he's like, oh, for Burning Man. I don't know what that is, but we're just going camping in the desert. And so he was like, okay, but you're gonna bring it back here. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, cool. I'm gonna give you my truck and not the fleet truck. And because he doesn't care if his truck is filthy or whatever. So yeah, we hitched up the trailer and we took all the like squishy stuff, all the pillows and blankets and whatever we had, and threw it in the back of the truck, and we propped the door open like 6 inches and then tied it closed. And one person rode up front with me in the cab and everybody else rode in the back of the truck. And I think we left like the light on back there. Because there is, like a loading light or whatever. So
Actually, the most comfortable trip to Burning Man I'd ever had. There were like futons laid out and stuff, and it was just a big cuddle puddle. It was great.
yeah, and I was like, like worrying about what was going on with my truck or my limousine, and terrified that I was going to get pulled over. Like half a dozen people in the back of a box truck. And yeah, we got to Burning Man. It was fine. One of our friends ended up camping in the truck for the week, and we got back to Bend, and they hadn't fixed my limo yet, which ended up being a whole other pain in the ass. But yeah, no, we did. It turns out you shouldn't drive a limousine to Burning. I haven't told that story in a long time, and I like, yeah, that's funny. So I'm not exactly sure how we met. I think it's because you were dating Tomcat.
Probably.
Who I have known for like way too long. And yeah, and then you like, I don't know, like I don't know if we've ever been close, but like, we rode Burning Man together. We've like been at all the same parties. So I don't know. I brought a cherry tart. I made it out of pie cherries from my farmer's market, and it's got meringue on top of it. So of course you can't eat it, and Alan doesn't want it, but everybody else can have some. It was pretty. I'll JJ text you a picture. Thanks for reminding me. That's a fun story, and I haven't told it in a really long time, and it actually gets worse. Like I was, like I came home and I had tried to defer my jury duty because I was trying to go visit my sister and my newborn nephew, which is like really crazy. Don't go see a newborn right after you get home, by the way. And I tried to defer my jury service, and they were like, "No, you already deferred it." And I was like, "Yeah, this is still within the deadline. No, but you can't." So I got back home, and I'm like, "Well, I guess I gotta sort this out before I get on an airplane and go see my nephew." So I went to the jury office, and they were like, oh, that's fine. We'll just get you to come back from your trip in 3 weeks or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but then I'm going back to school. And they were like, oh, are you in school full time? I said, yes. And they said, for what? And I said, hard sciences. And they were like, we'll just get you on a dream. So I went and I saw my nephew, and yeah, eventually the transmission in the limousine got fixed, and I drove it many, many happy miles after that. But
Never to Burning.
never to Burning Man again. I did take it back to lightning in a bottle after that, I think, but never Burning Man. Terrible. Lovely. Thank you for the party.
Thanks for coming.
Everyone.
Singular idea for a singular person. Thanks for being you.
Thanks. Yeah, I've had a few people ask me like, why are you having a living funeral? And I guess it's just because I like to hear nice things about myself. And I figured most of you aren't going to sit around and say, she's such an ass. Thank you for all the nice things you've been saying. And Tom, what story are you going to tell?
I'm here for the nice things,
But you're intimately aware of the asshole things too.
and you are too.
True.
So, this is my, Ben and I were married together. We were divorced. You're my former wife, not my ex-wife. So difference in wording there. Like there's ex-cops and there's former cops. There's ex-military, there's former military.
Okay.
So, this is getting heavy. So first time we met was Friday after Thanksgiving. It was a dinner party that you threw with some mutual friends, which I am still
Leftover party.
leftover, right? Friday after Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving. And we're still very much deep friends with everyone that was there that night. And then a couple of days later, I get this friend request on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, that's the girl with slamming a sledgehammer into a rebar stake on Playa, with a giant wig and a corset. That's really. And a couple months later, we're at another place at your house, I think, and everyone decides we're going to go to stripper bingo, I think, which was basically a bunch of people dressed in formal wear the day for Valentine's Day and go to a strip club and have a placard saying there's, giving people bingo cards with going to a strip club. And then a week later, we're at asking up a date, and we go to some jazz concert. I had no idea what your
First, we went to see that movie with the Japanese kids trying to kill each other.
Oh, right. It was like some terror island with kids. What was it called?
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale. I know nothing about Manda at this point. She's just a girl that sledgehammers rebar into the ground and goes to strip clubs once in a while.
Not that often.
And we kind of hit it off. It was great. And like it was like the never-ending date weekend. It was really wonderful. And I always cherish that. And we've had our ups and downs and past and presents and futures. And they are something we carry each other for the rest of our lives. We had our experiences and they are what they are.
We had some really good ones.
We did.
Chiclaya.
Chiclaya. Yeah.
Peru.
Peru. Oh, the story. Oh, yeah. My feet got run over in Ecuador. That was fun. 4th of July.
There's also some epic food poisoning.
Oh, yeah. That was great. And getting carried on donkey across the Atacama Pass. Right? Was that the? No.
Salcante.
Salcante. Yeah. Yeah, we had great times. And they're all wonderful.
Thanks for showing up. Carissa.
Okay, I am not used to porch swings, but I'm gonna hang. Oh, there's a camera.
Yes.
So, I have known Amanda for a long time. We haven't hung out a lot in person lately. I've got a 5-year-old spawn, so I don't really leave the house. But you're one of those friends who I hang out with in my head a lot. Like, I have conversations with you all the time. We do stuff. It's great. You should be there. But I know we've had a lot of really cool adventures. There's been going and beach trips. But I was thinking, like, what's a nice, interesting, very Amanda story I could tell that would be, short, which is that includes a lot of the very Amanda stories, first of all. But I was like, okay, come on, pick the anecdote. I can do this. And then I was thinking, it is. I was thinking about that one time when you got your first tattoo. And yes, I was your tattoo buddy. And so we went and she got this amazing epic, like giant thing all the way down one side, not the back. And it's a ton of real estate. And so like the artist stenciled it on and then was like, okay, how are we gonna do this? And so what he ended up doing was getting like a folding table. Do you remember this? And then like, okay, so he had like a folding table, and then he stuck you in a folding chair on top of it, facing away from him. And so you're sitting there, and I'm like, I'm just gonna hold under a foot. So I've got a comforting hand on your foot, and you're just sitting there like a champ, all like sanguine, like, okay, got to get this giant tattoo. And I remember the tattoo artist, he's all set up. I got my hand on your foot, and he's like doing his little like, prepare for boarding spiel. And he's like, right, so Amanda, you've had tattoos before, so you know how this is gonna feel. Every spot on the body's different, but like you know what's up. And man, without missing a beat and completely like chill, was like, oh no, actually, this is my first tattoo. And like that tattoo artist, it was a master class in professionalism because that tattoo artist's little eyes got so big. And you could see him taking in the whole stencil and being like, but what he said was, well, I'm just gonna do a little spot here. And we'll just give you a sense of what it's like, and then we'll just go from there. But you'll know how it feels. We'll see what we can do today. And you did the whole outline. I was so proud of you and astounded. And so was the tattoo artist. And I thought that was just so emblematic of your approach to life because you're like, wow, this is fine. And it's meanwhile this like epic, amazing, huge thing. And you just slayed it. So this is my tale. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for coming. Anyone that wants to see the tattoo, I can just unzip.
Man, you pretty much have to get naked because it is an entire back piece.
See the first half of it.
I don't Apparently it goes back to the 90s.
Hey.
Hey, you. So mine is not so much a story about you, but about your journey and how it's helped me through my journey. I'm very fortunate in that my cancer story is much different ending than yours is. But your strength and your openness and your perseverance has given me strength. You're one of a couple people that I've gone through this with. And like I said, your strength has been mine. And your openness about the issue that you had has made mine seem so minute. And for that, I want to just say thank you.
Glad it could be useful to somebody.
I think more than you know. I'm gonna turn it back on.
You're gonna say things.
Hi. Um, interesting afternoon. I don't know Amanda obviously for a while. Pretty closely, I'd say. I know the long and it got into two spades, hearts, diamonds, clubs, whatever. Today, but it's everybody. She is connects with people and she maintains those connections. I don't know anybody else knows as many people across decades, continents, oceans, all manner. And the various people who, local and abroad, said, fuck yeah, I'm going to be there. That's because of who Manda is. One of the other things that I noticed in many of the stories today is that you go, yeah, I don't remember when we met. All of a sudden, she's in your life, and you're not quite sure what has started. I'm one of those. Amanda and I have been joking about this for most of our relationship. We don't remember when we met. We know when we said, oh, hi. Well, you probably know that story, but when that happened, and then she got scared, she tried to run away from it.
Yeah, I tried to cancel our first date. I tried to cancel our first date like 3 times. Because, he had a rep. I was like, that guy's way too kinky for me. I can't do him.
It was actually a dark and stormy night. These streets were filled with ice. That first date, and she says, it's the weather is too bad. There's no way and she's making excuses. I said, you don't have to come to this. There is Eagle 42. It's basically across the street from her condo. I'll meet you there. We'll have a drink. I ran from here to there. I crossed the ice. I actually made it there before she did. Because I was very, very motivated. I think you all understand why. It was a good choice. And
Any stories out there?
Now, we just met. Really.
Pretty much. Yeah, so I met you once, like 6 years ago, it was Thanksgiving. Remember sitting when the table was in there.
Oh, hold on a second. For context, this is Amanda, Alan's daughter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I think it was about 6 years ago we met at Thanksgiving, and I just remember thinking, I really like you. Just really, really good energy. And last month when I came up for a week, I'm just so happy that I was able to come up and spend time with you. And I'm so happy that you are with my dad and seeing how happy you make each other. That you have each other. That you're part of my family. And I'm just really happy to get to know you. And whatever time you have left. I mean, I've stalked you on social media, I guess, but in person. Yeah, and I'm glad I was able to come up this weekend and I'll drive back tomorrow. But I'm really happy that I was able to be here and it's amazing gathering of people. It's exactly what my dad said. I mean, you just draw people to you. You just what a good person you are. Yeah.
Amanda has the most beautiful eyes and the most beautiful skin I have ever seen. Somebody else mentioned it, but you don't have a wrinkle anyway.
Oh, there are some.
Where?
But yeah, not doing bad for cancer in 54.
That's right. You look beautiful.
Cancer doesn't make you ugly. So I guess it makes some people ugly. Emotionally. All right, no one has claimed these sunglasses? Any stories? A lot of people have told stories now. Because we can just be done with the storytelling portion and just have a normal party now if you'd like. Okay. I'm calling.
Let me see the sunglasses.
Should we call it for the stories?
Or we can put it on pause. We can always come back to it when somebody gets inspired.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
Oh.
Oh. Amy has stories.
It's actually nice here. I don't realize that I'm on stage. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of person than speaking in front of everyone. So a story that I really fondly remember was sometime winter of either 2020 or 2021 when there were the silent discos kind of under I-5 down at the waterfront near their cat statue. And that was a really difficult time for everyone. For a lot of people, a lot of social isolation. We weren't having parties and just, trying to deal with this new, very strange thing. And I remember that I walked out from my place, which wasn't too far, and you were there with your pod, you, Alan, Libby, and Amelia. And I don't know, I think maybe we were hugging at that point, but we were all masking. But I had actually, I had taken some Molly before I walked down. And then as I was walking, I started coming up. And when I saw all of you, I was like, it was just so wonderful to have this joyful moment in the middle of this really weird, sad time. And then I just remember you were next to me and we were running, and I'm not saying anybody else was chemically altered, I'll just take responsibility for mine, but I remember we started running over to the Hawthorne Bridge, and you were there with me, and it was so wonderful to feel so free and happy and see the city so beautiful. And yeah, it was a real standout moment. And I remember being with you and having a beautiful experience. Do you remember anything from that?
I do. The city lights were really beautiful from the bridge.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just a moment of pure joy. And I was really happy to get to share that with you in a time that was pretty dark. Love you.
Note that in the observer there, I have a little bit of video of Manda and Amy dancing up the ramp.
Oh.
It is perfect.
I want to see that.
You've seen it before, but I'll show it to you again.
Okay.
I will temporarily close this off, and if anyone decides they have something to share, we can turn it back on later.
Just want to come up and say hi without a microphone. It's available.
Oh, if you can pause it, that would be good. Does it allow you to do that? Okay. Thanks for coming. I need to get up and give William a hug though, because it's 3 o'clock. And you have to go to the airport. Okay.
You need to come back. You want me to come back?
Come back anytime you want.
What? Yes, gotta go.
Good to see you, Jesse. I see you like once a year, it seems like.
Well. We need to.
I'm glad I did this.
It's amazing. Popular. A tsunami of love, darling.
It really is.
I don't think I've ever seen this much love. Ever. I'm gonna use the bathroom up here.
Do you know where it is?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
How are you doing?
What? A few people I need to say hi to. Hey, Chris.
Oh, keep it.
Good flight back to LA. I'm glad you made it, even if it's only for a couple hours.
I will call you. Talk.
It's hard for me to talk for any length of time when I'm nauseous.
Right.
So many people here. So nice. All over.
I know. You're one of a kind, you know. The world would have made you.
Oh, I need to empty this out. Okay. Not everyone wants to be on display.
Yeah, I was trying to work up the nerve, but I didn't quite. It's really good to see you. Yeah.
So many people.
Yeah, you do. I didn't know how long it would take me to get access to you, so here I am.
Not how I intended life to go, you know?
Well, you've done it really well. I mean, of course, it should be going on much longer.
I even had to change an agreement boundary with Alan. I don't like it when he like, grabs my ass in public. But I always used to say, once I'm 80, you can do that. But since I'm not gonna make it to 80,
Just get to the ass grab.
he now has full ass grabbing permissions.
That's a good idea. I was trying to think of like if I got on the mic, what would be my funny joke, and the only thing I could think of was that I think I might still owe you a new bed frame. But
I'd forgotten about that.
yeah, William already scooped. Really? Did he scoot already?
Did I what? Williams?
I'm gonna get your picture together. Sorry.
I'm not sure where he went though. Is he out there waiting for the lift?
You really do look good. I know you probably don't think so.
I can't even walk across the living room without panting for breath.
I know.
Oh,
I hate to hear that.
I've gotten stuck on the ground a few times. It's real fun where you're like, all right, here's the toilet. I can make it past there. Nope, I'm down on my knees. Shit, how do I get up? So in some ways, I am getting experience of a very old person.
Sure. Yeah. I think about this, but I never wanted to come out sounding the wrong way, but I've multiple times like looked at like pictures of you and stuff and thought like, I can't believe I'm looking at somebody in a cancer battle and thinking about how hot they are.
That fills me with delight.
You said, like I said in that comment, it's like you still look like man. I still see man. You know, cute as ever.
Thanks.
But not a good talker. But I'm really glad I finally got a chance to get over here, and maybe I still can again. You mentioned that you've probably gotten to it, but you were talking about going through. You said something about going through old stuff that you needed to sort through or something.
I have done some of that.
That's still.
I burned small
Or if there's
diaries.
anything I can still help with.
Thank you.
I'm around. On my way over, I was like, oh, it's a 9-minute drive. So I'm
Not
practically in the neighborhood. All right, I'm gonna give other people a chance to talk to you. You too.
You're still
Later.
cute as ever too.
Oh.
How was Mississippi Street Fair? Really? Yeah. I'm glad Alan bought all the shade cloth. And put it
Yeah,
up.
no, we went in and we were like, oh, we should do this on our video. We don't have a cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was so beautiful. And your crown is amazing.
Like it.
All of my gladiolas are for me right now, and I didn't bring any today because we were at the City Street Fair. But can I bring some?
Sure.
And bring some by.
I would love that.
Okay,
Cool.
I meant to bring tulips when we were so busy that I never did. And so I was like, oh well, then gladiolas are here. So so now I can get.
Oh, hold on. Jesse, did you find him? He might have already gone to the airport then. Well, he said goodbye to me.
Well, shoot, after I went to here, I wanted to get a picture of you.
Yeah.
Actually,
No, it's fine. It's fine. And I won't-
it's set on manual focus, I'm pretty sure. The exposure should be automatic. Take as many as you want. Messing with my white balance. I always shoot raw anyways.
Okay.
I'll message you number.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
Did you get did you get to hear any stories?
Yeah, no, we were here.
Okay.
We're just back in the back corner. I walked up and Honey Badger had the giant fuck and I was like,
Yeah. I now have a flying fuck.
it's awesome.
My turn? Yes. You look so cute.
I donned these. I strapped these on for you.
Holy fuck. You are fabulous.
I was standing behind the fence just so that I could.
Those boots are amazing.
No, I don't like. I don't post or anything like that. I don't comment.
I'm really glad I did this.
Okay.
Nice to hear nice things.
I think the first time I saw you was actually at your wedding. I think Tony invited me.
Which is funny because I met you at your wedding.
Was your wedding after my wedding?
Yes. Definitely. Tom and I got married in 2013.
Yeah. Well, my memories.
It's okay.
Yeah, but I just remember seeing your shoes, and that cute red dress, like red and black dress.
I don't remember the. You remember what?
Oh, my wedding dress, yes.
Isn't it red and black?
It was white and red.
White and red?
Okay, strapless.
Okay, yes, I knew. It was like a cute little rockabilly thing. Yeah. And then your food.
And then my red fuga.
Like, okay, we're dressing as Manda today. This is me dressing as you. Really do have great skin.
It's shocking because I'm on this medication for retinol, which just fucks up your skin like nothing else.
Yeah. You have peach colors? It's like all of that. I will leave the seat open for the next because there is a line. There is. This is your wedding, though. This is your solo wedding.
It turned out well.
Yeah. I mean, there were several of us just like hanging out on the other side, just like popping our heads up.
All right, I'll leave the spot available for the next one. I don't have a story.
Sorry, dear tree burger.
Thanks for coming. Yeah. We live like a mile away.
We were talking about how none of us remember meeting you.
I just suddenly appeared.
Like, is she just some magical creature that just appeared? Okay.
Formed.
Right. I don't remember either.
I'm not sure where I put my hat show.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember that I knew your name before I met you. And I think it's just because I knew Tomcat, and then you just suddenly. And I'm very grateful. I won't be long because I'm just gonna start sobbing if I stay long, and it's not. I'm not good at these things.
It's hard thing to be good at. I don't know.
Yeah. But I just wanted to tell you how much I love you. One of the things I've always appreciated about you is how you are able to just face things in a very sort of matter-of-fact way. And I've seen you, at least your public face of your cancer, it's been that way, but also, you know, going through things with Tom and other challenges that you're going through that I've known you, and you've just very able to kind of take it on board and bring it in and just continue moving through it. And there's a lot of strength there. It's impressive. And the ways that you've chosen to show up really publicly here, I think has been part of that. I didn't know Kirk was struggling with cancer as well, and that willingness to be really visible in public. Something that impressive.
Like holding things inside.
Yeah.
Inside in general.
Yeah. Well, and if it's been better for you, that's the number one thing that I care about. It's like what in the world is going to be the best set of things for you as you kind of go through all this. I'm sure you're tired of talking about this.
Off and on.
Yeah. Good luck.
Been here long?
I got here about 1. Yeah. I was
You heard lots of stories.
sitting back. I just. Feeling the microphone.
That's fine.
Most of my stories I didn't want to say in front of a bunch of strangers.
Yeah, that's fair. Falling off.
Good to hear stories from friends of yours and
People I've known for a long,
Yeah.
long time.
Seeing so many people show up for you.
I can't believe Ian showed up. My ex-roommate.
Is he the one
He's the
that had the friend that was grew up to be Aesop Rock?
No, that was Nathan, who you only saw on screen. But Nathan did show up. Thing about Ian is he flew up from LA and is flying back tonight. Which actually is what William did too. William flew up for one day. My friend Dan is here from San Francisco. Showing up.
I can also vouch for you being a good kisser.
Sometimes I'm just awful.
I thought about telling our story about the time where we almost spent way too much money on getting salt and straw delivered, but I talked you out of it and we just walked to the grocery store and got ice cream like that. That was awesome. Anyway, sometimes I can be good at it.
Sometimes. First time we did it. We did not.
Yeah, that's the one I thought about. It's like, you and I can enjoy.
Yeah. That's private story.
Sounds like lots of people have private stories with you.
Either involving drugs or sex, yeah. I was trying to think about stories about my life and drug stories kept popping up. Actually, I really don't know.
Most people do. They just don't admit it in the alcohol is a drug.
True. Yeah.
Jesse sends his love. This child's 10th birthday party. Exactly overlap. This thing.
That is
So,
funny.
it's very bummed, but it's perpetuating the species.
I feel satisfied with the turnout and the stories.
Well, I was
Yeah.
curious. Oh,
And they're recorded.
Aw. Yeah, Meg's texted me when she was talking, I gave her the most extended background.
You have more people queuing and I don't want to monopolize your time.
Okay. At least the
Sending.
Cool. Hi, Lisa. Hi. Thanks for coming. You look so cute. Ah, how have you been?
At some point, I was
Much death everywhere lately. Yeah. Hey, Neil. They came up from San Jose. Gosh.
What the hell? I never see you again. That's right.
Except that, you know, I puke all the time and I can't eat food. I get TPN. It's like IV nutrition at night for 12 hours every night. Thanks. Are you guys up here for a couple days or just? Glad you could be here. That I really had expected aren't around, but that's okay. O'clock and I'm exhausted. What? All about me. It's cool right here. I can read. I'm trying to like, I want to be social, but I also don't know how I'm gonna feel until that day, so it's really hard to schedule stuff. Yeah. Now schedule them. Yep. Not allowed sometimes. I need to go empty. Yeah. I need to empty this.
I want a pony and a Lego set. So the take off soon. The heat is starting to really get to me. And I gotta go work in a pizza kitchen tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's making it so I don't have to get a house space. So it's great. It's just Tommy. And it's awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little bit wrecked at this point.
Yeah, this is a lot.
I'm really glad I did it.
Good. Yeah, thanks. I think it was a really good idea to do this. I kept looking stuff up online because like I've never been to one of these things before. And like all these websites that look like they were written by wedding planners. Like so tricky. Like I can't read this.
Similar to when I just got married. I don't need all that.
Right. Why you just do it?
It's a house party. It's great.
Yeah. But I think I want more information on like where this kind of thing comes from, like like basic etiquette. Like I wanted an instruction manual. Yeah, so I can make a list. I have to make lists.
Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff online. I think your basic etiquette is just you don't just talk about yourself. Don't get up there and do a half-hour monologue.
Yeah, and no evangelizing. Proselytizing.
I did take the microphone. Hi, Amelia. I had to take the microphone away from one person. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can guess who, and I don't know this person at all, but did you anticipate that you might have to do this? Like when they came to sit down here?
Yeah.
Fair.
Some people just like to tell stories.
Yeah. It's true. Good. I'm glad this is what you this is working for you. And you can wave your magic wand anytime you want. It's like, all right, guys, I'm tired. Fuck off.
And that flying fuck is amazing.
Isn't it? He makes a bunch of them, make little necklaces and it's.
I might have to get a business card for that. I think I want one in my shop, actually.
A flying fuck?
Yeah. That would be pretty amazing.
It's Jason Whitson, or Honey Badger is his former name. I'm not sure.
Dude with the parasol?
No. I'm gonna have to do this, yeah.
All right, can I give you a hug goodbye then?
Yes.
And so basically you need to go. This scene.
Okay, yeah, this is falling off. And
So we need.
yeah.
And so basically we have this thing.
Travel anytime. Okay.
By this character in this scene. Down. So yeah. Things relating to physical things like. And talk about that way.
Bugs.
Big ladybug. It's on the heavy side. Got a couple of, at least one show up here before. They're all made out of the pieces of the temple.
Oh, nice.
And it's sealed so it can go out in the garden.
Okay, perfect. Ladybugs are always good to have in the garden.
They're what?
Ladybugs are good to have in the garden.
Yes. No.
I'm a little bit tired at this point, so. Thank you for the ladybugs. I hope people are all taking them. Seed bombs.
I saw some people just starting to discover it.
Okay. Cool. Good. You know, you want to keep them kind of dry until you're ready to use them. Okay. And then when you're ready to use it, like just throw it out the car window or something.
Yeah. Is it dry? I don't want to damage it.
Dry.
That's big and very cute. Any butts? Oh
Needs to
no,
go in the garden.
their faces.
Do you mind if I set it here? Floor?
Sure.
Well, I struggled whether I wanted to get up and say something. I think the microphone was just too much for me. I was reflecting about I think it might have been the first time I came to you for a massage. And it was you had just gotten a new certification or you were.
I was practicing after a class.
That's right. And you wanted people to practice on with shoulder stuff and with, you know, my TMJ disorder and being large breasted and like having back and shoulder issues for years and years. I was like, and it was still one of the best massage appointments I've ever had with anybody. And I know some really talented massage therapists, but like there was something about your combination of being so willing and excited to nerd out with your client, with me about the body mechanics of what you were doing, because I'm like someone who is, you know, overanalyzes things and wants to know the why behind everything. And it sometimes to a fault, like it's can be hard for me to just lean into the feeling of an experience and just be with that. Like there, my brain is like, why though? And I've had other practitioners not shame me for asking questions, but they've encouraged me to just
A lot of practitioners
chill
want you to
out.
shut up and chill out.
Yeah.
The type of work I was doing relies a lot on clients' proprioception. So you use language to try to help get more proprioception.
Yeah. It was so incredibly helpful. And you were the first person who had ever just dug right into my armpits to release my lat muscles. And it was utterly life changing.
Subscapularis.
Where's that?
Underneath, so your scapula, you know, there it's underneath it. And it causes problems. It also puts you internally rotate a lot.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're doing
rotating and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I came away from that appointment knowing so much more about how to take care of my shoulders. And it's continued to be really life-changing. And I was thinking about why that story came to mind as emblematic of how I think of you and the impressions I've had of you and how the things so many other people love about you. And it really, I think it comes down to like sensuality. You're so like sensually oriented. And it has informed like your love for dancing and your love for cooking and baking and food.
I need them to move out of the water.
Yeah, I see that. Out on the street.
It's coming in here and it's making it hard to breathe. Street is good.
And yeah, your love for food and cooking and the way you adorn your body, the way you dress, the way you adorn your household, the types of events that you take that you've inspired friends to come out to do with you. And I mean, I just was intimidated by the microphone, but I don't mind you hearing it. It's not private or anything.
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt for a second. Kim, isn't Bastille Day like today or tomorrow?
Yes.
Are you tomorrow? Are you doing the picnic?
I want to do the picnic. Yeah, we're gonna take the family out for a little while. And that's.
At the Joan of Arc statue? I am.
I remember having a stripy t-shirt.
I feel like you brought the Marie Antoinette wig to one of them.
Maybe I did. It's such a good story.
Yeah.
So sweet. Jazz.
Wait, one set of things.
Hey, Jasmine.
Do you want me to? Because I will rearrange for it, because
I
this is
cannot,
how
I'm gonna be
assume-
so tired after this. I'm probably not gonna want to leave the house tomorrow. But I miss Bastille Day. That was fun.
I associate you with so many cool things. Like that. It's like, did you also do? Did you do burlesque or did you guys were twins? Did you do both burlesque and stuff? Did you do both?
I did.
You were a kid.
Heather and I did the cat burlesque performance in 2013 at the burlesque show. That was the only year that I camped with burlesque. It was very silly. We were like doing the sexy undressing thing, and then we got distracted by a ball of yarn. There's like running around the stage. Really weird. I've never done burlesque before. That was that. I mean, I probably wouldn't have if not for being in burlesque camp and having that specific container and that opportunity.
Anyway, I don't want to.
Okay. Yeah. Smart. Like 17 months now.
Long COVID is a bitch.
And I'm sorry, that's why like I haven't been able to like come over and like help and see you.
No worries. A very legitimate excuse.
They also can't do things. And this morning I was like driving my trailer to go get it worked on. But on my way home, I'm like, I can't not come here. If I never see you again. It's a risk. Thank you for everything and being here.
Okay. Great. Telling me stories. Wonderful.
I can't think of any stories.
I'm sorry. Okay.
But I like you and I appreciate you. It smells really nice, doesn't it? It's not, it's not a place, it's not a thing that reminds me of any particular place because I haven't lived anywhere where it's common. So a lot of people have a strong associations with it. And when people talk about the smell of jasmine, I'm like, I don't know, I assume it smells nice. That's what this is, right? This is the jasmine. Yeah. It's nice. All right.
So a lot of it at Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for letting me keep segment. Give you a nice.
Getting picked up soon, so I thought I'd come say hi. And I'm sorry I forgot to sit down earlier.
It's okay.
But thank you for including me. And thanks for hanging out on your Portland. And, not exaggerating, the legend of Manda did precede you before I finally met you in person. Yeah.
The legend of Manda. I don't know.
Well, I heard about you from so many people, and then we kind of connected on Facebook. Yeah, so it's such a pleasure. I feel I look at a lot of differences too, and I noticed your friend has like the tattoo, and the necklace.
Yeah, we gave the house a theme and then suddenly everyone gives you off.
Yes,
we have countless.
Yes. Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, they're right about your skin. Beautiful. Hold up. They do that. It's okay to give away. Get out of your hair. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Oh.
Hey, bye. You can head out.
What the plant is with the current buds.
Lupin.
It's really cool.
Yeah, those are big purple flowers beforehand. Yeah.
I'm glad you did this. And I hope that,
I'll do that. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Hi. How's the day been for you? A little
Good.
exhausting?
Yeah, a little exhausting.
Yeah. It's a lot of,
Good.
a lot of activity.
I've heard lots of nice things about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
It's fun. I often have darker fantasies about like attending my own funeral just to hear what people would say. So it's a wonderful way to let people celebrate. Well, I feel like we only got one real one-on-one hangout.
Yeah, we went to lunch once.
We did. It was really lovely. I enjoyed it. But now I feel like I've gotten a little robbed of the future to do that again. Of course, but all I can offer is my support. I'm following along things, and I know you say you're just putting one foot ahead of the other each day, but you know, I'm proud of you for that.
It's a lot.
That's something. Yeah, yeah.
I have good friends.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing to feel. Yeah. How's the on the daily?
And I vomit almost every day. Like definitely every day in the last month.
Is it triggered by anything, or is it just
It's kind of just like mechanical. I get too much stomach acid.
right?
And I have a tube to drain it, but it doesn't always work. Or enough.
That's got to be exhausting.
Hey Ellie, how were the little sandwiches? Did they turn out okay?
The little cookie sandwiches?
No.
Like the little semis.
Yeah.
Lion.
Yeah.
I saw people having those.
Okay, good.
Oh, like,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Oh, good. I made them as a joke because they're called funeral sandwiches.
Get out, really?
Yeah. It's a southern thing.
I did not know.
Yeah, funeral sandwiches.
Chip was telling me about there's some dish called Mormon funeral potatoes.
Yeah, those are delicious, actually.
Those are delicious and like ridiculously high calorie.
Oh, it's like cheese and cream and fat.
Yeah,
Basically, yeah.
with the potato like holder.
We couldn't really make, flying up.
Yeah.
But,
But yeah. Yeah. I thought funeral sandwiches was hilarious. And
That is hilarious.
I hope they turned out well.
they're very.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Where did you guys come up from?
San Francisco.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And Ellie's from New York.
So you did all your early stuff in the East Coast, Boston, and all that. When,
I grew up in Maine. And then I lived in Boston about 7 years and New York for 10.
okay. I grew up in Connecticut once we got back from Canada.
Do you have Canadian citizenship?
My sister does. I do not. I was born in Wisconsin. She was born when we lived in Newfoundland. And I'm desperately jealous of her right now as we look at 2025. And think to myself, yeah, it would be nice to have Canadian citizenship right about now.
Yeah, Alan wants to stay here.
Yeah.
But he does have New Zealand citizenship, so it gets
That's right.
completely out of hand. He has no escape route.
That's a nice to have in the back pocket.
Thinking about that, I not have one planned yet, but looking at what they might be.
Yeah. I think everybody's got that in the back of your mind, like,
Most countries will still let you in as long as you have a certain amount of money in your bank account.
Yeah.
It comes down to that.
How quickly I could liquidate that.
Yeah. Well, heck, if you there's some complications. Yeah. Certain industries have better chances of your getting there because they're either protecting their workers or they don't have enough of another type of worker.
How discriminatory they are about it. People were talking about running the Panama.
Yeah. No.
We've been in Costa Rica before. Yeah. Which has like winter year round, average of like 70 degrees.
Yeah.
Country. Panama at sea level, it's closer to the equator.
Right. Oh.
So not even taking it, like it, didn't get cold. Wrapping yourself.
Yeah.
Or wrapping it around you. Yeah.
Which looks to me like Encino. No, it's just.
I thought it looked like it reminded me of Miami. Like in the nice parts, and then there are parts that were.
I'm gonna make like a banana.
Other folks that you know.
Yes.
There again over the summer. But I don't know what.
Can meet up for mocktails.
Mocktail sounds fantastic. Yeah, there's a lot you can't have just due to various
Yep.
medications and things.
Yeah. I should stick free of alcohol.
Understood. Yeah. I mean, it's honestly better for you anyway. A big drinker.
And food, I can't eat solid food at all.
Oh. What about weed? Is it?
RSO would be okay. But yeah, no solid food, just liquids. That's why I miss food a lot.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, I wish you the best. And I'm here for you. And I'll be thinking about you. Rest of the day.
Right, I have not seen the other half of my party. So I kind of want. I kind of want to see. I definitely need a hand downstairs. So I don't fall. I think I can.